Well, let's turn our attention to some earnings news out on the day. KAP Industrial reporting a 21% increase in interim HEPS. That's to 14.4 cents. Operating profit before capital items increasing to 673 million rand. That's from 510 million rand. The group not declaring an interim dividend, as is a policy. Joining us to dissect these numbers, Joe Clovier, CEO at KAP. Joe, great to have you with us. Thanks for your time today. And of course, the numbers now include Steinhoff's industrial assets, which were reverse listed, I suppose, or reverse included, reverse acquisition as they call it at the JSE under KAP. So break down the numbers for us and give us an idea of the organic growth that you saw at KAP during this period.
Hi, Samantha. Yeah, the revenue increased from 5 billion to nearly 8 billion, and 48% of that was as a result of the acquisition, and 7% was organic growth. And on the operating profit line, that increased by 32%, as you said, to 673 million from 510 to 673, and the acquisition growth was 22% there, and the organic growth 10%. But the most pleasing part of the numbers to us is the cash generated from operations, which increased by 87% to 646 million.
So you see yourself sitting in a healthy cash position if you look at that right now. And one of the numbers, though, that will stand out for the market if you're looking at it at face value is that debt to equity ratio sitting at 66%. I mean, net debt, you talk about sitting at 3.8 billion rand. Explain where the debt comes from for those who don't know, and what your target is when it comes to getting that number down.
Yeah, the largest part of our debt is a loan from Steinhoff. So it's not bank debt per se. And we really focus on, in our capital structure, we focus on net debt to EBITDA, which has dropped from 4.8 to 3.6. And we're very happy with that ratio.
Now, looking at margins in the business, I mean, that operating profit margin up to 8.5%, so an improvement there. And you say solely because of an improvement in the African business. So break that down for us and talk to us about the enhanced African footprint that you have been working to build. And I suppose we'll get into plans going forward after that.
Yeah, the African business does have better margins because obviously the environment is a little bit more challenging there. But we've been operating in Africa for the best part of 20 years. We have good footprint there, we have good infrastructure on the ground, and we have a lot of experience operating in those conditions in countries like Malawi, Mozambique, Tanzania, Uganda and Kenya. You know, the drive for us is to build that African footprint and to increase our long-term contractual work in those territories. So we're very excited about the possibilities there.
So give us an idea. I mean, you're sitting now at the company, you've been with KAP for some time. Give us an idea of the company you envision in 3 years' time. I mean, what is the company you're hoping to build, and what would be your exposure outside of South Africa relative to South Africa?
You know, we really a focused emerging market player, diversified industrial, but with a focus on emerging markets. So we look to emerging markets where we think we can add value, we know we can add value, and that will largely be on the African continent for the time being. We don't see ourselves operating in Europe or the United States or any of those places. We have a very good mix of industrial businesses which are all really a big player in the markets they serve, either number one or number two in the markets they're serving. And those businesses have got quite high barriers to entry. So we're excited about the prospects for those businesses.
Now, there was also talk of an acquisition, and apparently that falls through, but that all in the rumour mill. Are you looking at an acquisition right now to enhance the business further, even though you've got the scale post the reverse acquisition of Steinhoff's industrial assets? I'm
not aware of any acquisition, to be honest with you, that fell through. I have no knowledge of that, but you know, we are always
just
on
the rumour mills, Joe.
I beg your pardon?
Just the rumour mills then.
Okay. Yeah, we're always on the lookout for obviously for new businesses and new business silos within our industrial footprint. But you know, that's something that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Our job is to add value to the businesses we own, and hopefully to buy businesses or acquire businesses which we can add value to.